Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. So brothers and sisters, we're at verse number 18. And now, again, some more dramatic events start to unfold. So let's jump right into it. I want to make this session half of what the previous sessions were. I don't like these sessions to be more than 20 minutes long. And some of the previous sessions, I went back and I looked at them and they were like 40 minutes and 30 some odd minutes. So we definitely want to try to keep it as concise as possible. But the problem that we're running into, because the story is so rich and it's so detailed, there's so much to talk about. I don't want to give you some and leave out other details, because then you won't get the complete picture. And if I try to keep it concise, then it's going to be a very dry sort of experience and study of the story of Musa alayhi salam, which is another problem in and of itself. But we'll do our best. We'll do our best, inshallah. Okay, let's continue. So after Musa alayhi salam pretty much blames the man who he tried to save for setting him up, pretty much. That's what ended up happening. He got set up because they all left. All that is particular Israelite that he tried to help, he left and ran away with all of his buddies and kind of left Musa alayhi salam hanging there by himself. So we continue, inshaAllah ta'ala. I just noticed a very, very interesting name, Sister Arfa. I see you. Welcome, mashallah, tabarakallah. It's great to have you. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you and preserve you. For those of you who don't know, Sister Arfa is sort of like a good friend and colleague of mine. We've done a number of different projects and talks in the past. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you. Whatever it is that you're involved in, may Allah put His barakah in it. It's great to see you, alhamdulillah. قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين is the last verse that we studied. So let's continue from there. فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب. So Musa alayhi salam the next day has to go back out into the city, and he's afraid. خائفا يترقب. يترقب comes from the word رقيب. Does this ayah sound familiar to you? يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها. The first ayah in Surah An-Nisa. إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. Allah says that He is upon you a رقيبا. Raqib literally means grabbing an animal by the neck and steering it where you want to go. And our version of that is, when you go to the mall and you have your kids, and you hold their hands and you tell them, don't run off, don't go here, don't go there. And you kind of keep them with you, and wherever you go, they go. That's called raqib. Musa alayhi salam, when Allah is describing that he is raqib to himself, he's basically saying that Musa alayhi salam walked back now out in the same city, and this time it's during the day, it's busy, so he's always looking over his shoulders. He's kind of just, as he's walking, if he sees, it's just like the criminal. If you see a police, you kind of put your head over, bring your hat down, kind of just blend in. Hopefully you won't get caught. Musa alayhi salam is not a criminal, but he's kind of looking over his shoulders every inch that he goes into the city. So خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبْ. Because why? He's afraid. This man, this Egyptian man that he took out the day before, he knows that there's a call out. Who's the person responsible for this? So there's a call out for the person wanted for this particular murder. فَإِذَا الَّذِي اسْتَنصَرَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَسْتَصْرِخُ. Guess who he ends up seeing? He ends up seeing the same guy he helped the day before. He ends up seeing him across the road somewhere, and the same man is in trouble again. So the guy, the Israelite that he helped, sees Musa alayhi salam, but this man now has two things for him. He knows Musa alayhi salam because he was a witness to what Musa did yesterday, and number two, he knows the name of Musa. So Musa alayhi salam is definitely nervous and afraid to have to stand or be near this guy. And he notices that the same Israelite, he looks across and he's in trouble again with another Egyptian guard or somebody else, right? So he's in trouble again. So Musa alayhi salam sees it and he tries to walk away and just kind of leave it alone, but he's still a bit curious. Why is this man in trouble again? Look what the man does. The man goes, قال له موسى قال له موسى. When this man saw Musa alayhi salam, يستصرخ, the man screamed out Musa's name and asked him, come and help me again for a second time. And then Musa says to the man, إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. Ghawi is somebody that takes advantage of people. So Musa alayhi salam says, man, you're pathetic. You take advantage of people. You get in trouble one day, you call me out, this problem happens, now you get in trouble again the second day, and you still call me out for the same thing? Because the guy is thinking, Musa, it's me, it's your buddy, you know, we go way back in the day, yesterday, when you did this and you did that. So you helped me out once, you can help me out again. And Musa alayhi salam learned. What did the Prophet alayhi salam say about the believer? He never gets stung twice by the same mistake. So Musa alayhi salam learns, okay, this is the same guy and he's going through the same problem. I'm going to back away here. فَلَمَّا أَرَادَ أَن يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. So when Musa alayhi salam wanted to back away, and basically, you know, you have this guard who is with this Israelite, and this guard is beating the heck out of him. Musa alayhi salam can already start to see that the guard is going to take him out. And Musa alayhi salam doesn't want that. So Musa, instead of punching the guard, punching the Egyptian, he kind of just pushes him away. يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. So he kind of just pushes him away to kind of break up the fight. And that's when the man does this. The Israelite does this. Look what he does. قَالَ يَا مُوسَى. The Israelite thinks that Musa wants to take him out, not the Egyptian out. Subhanallah. It's unreal. So he thinks now that Musa, he says, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى. So what did he do? He screams out Musa's name. أَتُرِيدُ أَن تَقْتُلَنِي كَمَا قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا بِالْأَمْسِ. Do you want to kill me the way you killed a man yesterday? So here's the second thing this Israelite did. He gave away Musa now as the suspect. You were the one that took somebody's life yesterday. Remember, there are guards everywhere. There's a huge commotion. So now the word is out that Musa is the man wanted for the killing of that guard yesterday. And number two, now everybody knows who Musa is. He's standing right there. And the person that gave this away was the same Israelite that he helped the day before, and he's trying to help again. What do you want to call this? It's like a scumbag. Yeah, that's what scumbags do. That's what con artists do. Their strongest tool is intelligence. Once they have information and they can set you up and take advantage of you, that's what they do. You know, we saw something similar in another surah. Guys, what's the sister surah of Surah Al-Qasas? Surah Yusuf. When Yusuf alayhi salam was in jail, and there were the two men that was in prison with him. Eventually those two men, one of them died and the other one was released, right? When that one that was released, all that Yusuf alayhi salam told that man, that prisoner, to do is go back and tell everybody who's in jail. It's me, Yusuf, the innocent one. Tell them my story. And the guy just forgot. He didn't even care. Once he got out, all he cared about was himself. Eventually, when the king saw that dream about the 7 calves eating the 7 cows, devouring 7 other cows, when he saw that dream and he wanted an interpreter, that's when that prisoner wanted to seek a promotion in the castle, in the palace. So he says to the king, I know somebody that can interpret this dream. He's referring to Yusuf, but here's the thing. He doesn't even say Yusuf's name to the king. He's like, I know somebody. Let me go get him. So then what he's going to do now, he goes back to the prison where Yusuf alayhi salam is sitting in there, and he goes, Ya ayyuha siddiq. Hey buddy, it's me, your fellow, back in the day compadre, I'm your buddy. We were in prison together. We were inmates. It's me, I'm back. Hey, listen, the king saw a dream. Could you interpret it for me? He doesn't say, look, we need you to come and interpret for the king. Because this former prisoner is trying to seek a promotion. He wants to look good in front of everyone else. That's what a scumbag does. That's what the con artist does. Their strongest tool is intelligence. Once they got information and they can take advantage of you with that information, that's what they do. And that's what the same Israelite is doing with Musa alayhi salam. He already knows Musa, what he did yesterday. He's the only witness. He knows the name, so he gives it all away. And he puts Musa alayhi salam on the spot and he says, you want to kill me? إن تريد أن إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض. You just want to be a bully? جبار, جبر, to force something in its place, like a bully. So he's like, you want to be a bully? وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. And you don't want to be somebody that brings good to anyone. So look what this Israelite does. It's insane. Musa alayhi, some time goes by now. Musa alayhi salam realizes what's happening. And he just kind of backs off. Now, the next ayah, lots of things happen between verse 19 and verse 20. But one of the unique things about Quran is that when it leaves out a ton of details, it wants you to fill those in. So let's assume now that after this whole scene, Musa alayhi salam gets away, gets himself prepared. He's going to leave now. He needs to get far away. He's probably gone in hiding somewhere, in a cave, wherever, in somebody else's house, you name it. So he's left now the city, at least far away from the palace as possible. وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. A man came all the way from the other end of the city, where the palace was. So this is a clue that Musa alayhi salam went to one end, and this man who took the river, so it's kind of like our 401, right? He took the river, he's coming down, he went through everywhere, he spent nights here and there until he found Musa alayhi salam. And he says to Musa, يَسْعَ قَالَ يَا مُوسَى إِنَّ الْمَلْأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. The administration, all the leaders back in the palace, they gathered and they're having a sitting right now, determining a verdict on your fate. Because now this Israelite gave it all away. So they're sitting there like, what do we do with this guy Musa? He took the life of one of our people. So what are we going to do? And this man seems like he was a friend to Musa. He's an Egyptian, Musa is an Israelite. So this man looked like he was close to Musa, or he had a good heart. So he wanted to just come and tell Musa, look man, this is what they're planning against you. لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. The verdict is that they're going to sentence you to death. Because you took the life of somebody, they're going to sentence you to death. So what does this man say to Musa alayhi salam? فَخْرُجْ إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. Get out of here. Go, run away. And then it says, إِنِّي, me, لَكَ, to you, مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. I'm somebody that's trying to really give you some advice here. Like I'm really trying to tell you something. So it looked like, here's what it looks like it has happened. Musa alayhi salam is listening to this man, and he's like, yeah, whatever, you're one of them. Get out of here. You're trying to set me up. You know, if I end up leaving, there's probably a whole set of guards out there that set a perimeter around Egypt, and if I try to exit the city, they're going to be waiting for me. Go, go, go. And this man had to sit there, keep going and going, and convincing Musa alayhi salam, look, I'm telling you the truth. So that's why it ends off with 3-part emphasis at the end of the ayah. I swear, honestly, I'm telling you for your own good, get out of Egypt. So after some convincing, Musa alayhi salam packs up. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبْ. He leaves Egypt afraid, يَتَرَقَّبْ. We just saw that word يَتَرَقَّبْ, raqib, looking over at his back, all behind him. He doesn't want anybody to know, and he quietly, as discreet as possible, leaves Egypt. Where's he going? قال ربي نجني من القوم الظالمين. Oh Allah, give me success, give me strength from a nation that has wronged. Students, that verse I just read to you, قال ربي نجني من القوم الظالمين. Did you hear that verse in another surah somewhere? Who else said the exact same sentence? Type it out. Especially the sisters. You should know this. I'm sure most of you do. Who is the other woman in the Quran that said the exact same dua? Rabbi najjini min al-qawmi al-zalimin. I'm going to just take a sip of my coffee here. until somebody types out, who said رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ? Another surah. So type that out in the meantime. Musa alayhi salam is saying a dua, but it's not just any dua. He learnt this from somebody. He learnt this from somebody. I'm waiting to see. Very good, Sister Lubna. Asiya bint Muzahim radiyallahu anha, who is who to Musa alayhi salam? His stepmom. Which tells you what? He didn't just make up this dua out of nowhere. He learnt it. He learnt it from who? He learnt it from his mom, or at least his stepmom at the time. Mothers out there, the greatest gift you can give your child is the gift of dua. That's the greatest gift you can teach your child, is you teach your child dua. And all mothers do this. All mothers spend time when you're sitting with your child, even if your child is a baby, and you're about to nurse your child. What do you unconsciously, you don't even think about it. You say, okay, Bismillah. And not realizing that the child, although it's that tiny, might have internalized and heard sounds, Bismillah. And they learn this stuff. And I see this all the time. It doesn't mean that the father's not doing anything. He's totally useless. No. We're just concentrating on what the surah is concentrating on, okay? This is a surah about moms. Surah Al-Qasas, the story of Musa. It's all about mom. Surah Yusuf was about dad. That was that version. We're talking about mom here. So we're just keeping it in context. When I at the masjid, and most of the times, 99% of the times when I see the kids getting dropped off at Sunday classes or weekend programs, most of the times it's mom doing it. Dad's busy working or doing whatever, right? And mom's there. And that's where they get those values, the foundation, all of those fundamentals. So mom, all the moms out there, don't trivialize when you're teaching your kids the simple du'as, when to wake up, when to say Bismillah, before they go to sleep, when you walk into a masjid, how to keep your hands together, how to pray, some words you teach them. Don't trivialize this stuff, because look, Musa alayhi salam is using the exact same dua that the wife of Fir'aun, Asiya, his stepmom, must have taught him. At least it's kind of hinting as though this is where he learned it from, subhanallah. So beautiful. Last verse. Well, sort of, right? This is so delicious. I don't know if I want to stop at verse 22, but let's see. وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. So Musa alayhi salam goes out. Now remember, everything outside of Egypt is just desert. So he faces towards the city of Midian. قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي. Says, I hope that my master, أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ, that he will guide me towards a path somewhere. So Musa alayhi salam has no idea where he's going. He doesn't even know he's going towards the city of Midian. He's just, okay, I'm just going to face towards this direction. Yalla khalas. And he goes, I hope that Allah will take me somewhere. Take me wherever he wants. Sawa as-sabil. It's amazing. So he got himself all ready. Now, I see some of you is like, don't stop. Okay, you know what? I gotta introduce the next thing. Okay, just one last ayah. That's it, okay? So some time goes by. Now, when you're in the desert and you're by yourself, you're trying to cross the hot winds and sand, what's the one thing you want the most to keep yourself going in the desert? Water. So Musa alayhi salam is looking for water. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. So he found like a waterway in the city of Midian somewhere. Okay, there was like a river somewhere. And he saw some of the locals. وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. So he watched and he saw some people that belonged to that city somewhere. So it was a nation amongst those people. And they were all there by this river. Yasqun, they were feeding their animals. They had their goats and their sheep and so on, and they were giving them all a drink. So Musa alayhi salam, I'm going to jump the gun here and say this, okay? He found a tree somewhere, a nice shade, and he sat there. when you're on such a long journey, right? Just imagine yourself, even those of you who've never been to a desert, never walked in the middle of desert for that matter. I have, and that's all I'm going to tell you, but I have been in the middle of a desert walking during the day and even during the nights. It is one of the most scariest experiences I have ever gone through. Now, what was I doing in the middle of a desert? That's just something we're never going to talk about, okay? So here he is, right? So he's under this tree and he's just kind of, oh, finally, alhamdulillah, okay, good. He sits under the shade and he's trying to cool off. You know, when you're that exhausted, you don't want nobody to bother you. And even if you see somebody helping you, you're probably like, oh, what's going on there? Okay, I'm sure they're fine. And you're just exhausted, burnt out. Now just keep that thought in your mind for a minute. وَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ امْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. As he's sitting there, so he sees this group of people feeding or giving their animals a drink, all these men. And then he looks up close towards the mountains far away somewhere and he sees these two girls. There's two ladies up there. And they're trying to pull their sheep and their goats, but these sheep or goats are winning. So they're like trying to drag them to like, let's get away. But what sheep and goats, when they see water, what do they want to do? They want to go to it and get a drink. So they're trying to fight off these women and run down and get a drink as well. And the women, these two ladies, are trying to pull them back. So Musa alayhi salam is watching all of this and he's like, what in the world is going on there? So instead of him just saying, you know what, whatever, forget it, who cares, they're fine. تَذُودَانِ. So he says, وَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ رَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. تَذُودَانِ, they're struggling with their animals. So Musa alayhi salam gets up from the tree and look what he does. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. What's going on here? Remember, we saw this word earlier on in the surah. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. What are you guys doing? What's up with the two of you? Why are you guys battling with these poor sheep? Like, what's going on here? قَالَتَا لَا نَسْقِي. They both simultaneously spoke. Now there's a huge, beautiful wisdom behind why the both of them spoke that comes up a little later, okay? They both spoke and they said, we can't give a drink to our animals, to our sheep, حَتَّى يُصْدِرَ الرِّعَى, until they, all the men, clear out of here. Until they go, because they don't want to like mix with the men and their animals and so on. It's just going to be a total confusion, and it's not something that they're accustomed to doing. So they wait their turn, or they wait till the men leave and then they go. Because again, just think back in that context, right? If they, two young ladies are coming there, they get harassed, they get talked to, all kinds of things happen. So they don't want to deal with any of that. And so that's all they say. Musa alayhi salam doesn't go up to them. Here's what I want you to pay attention to, and then we're done. There's no small talk here, students. Musa alayhi salam doesn't be like, hey, what's going on, the two of you? What's up? What are you guys up to? And they don't say, look, we're trying to feed our animals or try to give them a drink. He doesn't say, well, where'd you guys come from? What city? Are you guys here by yourself? No small talk. He asks them, what are you guys doing? What's up? They respond, no small talk. He said, we're trying to get a drink for our animals, but we have to wait till they leave. And by the way, وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ. And our father, he's a sheikh. Remember, sheikh literally is somebody who's an elder, who has knowledge and experience. All of those things can be called a sheikh. That's why even somebody who isn't an elder, somebody who's younger, who doesn't have grays and things like that, you still call them a sheikh because of their knowledge and experience. So what they're saying is our father is somebody of status, knowledge, and experience. Our dad is well known. Okay, Musa? Just in case. Just so you know who we are. Done. It's incredible. No, okay, well, who are you, sir? Well, where'd you come from? Why are you talking to us? Nothing. You asked us a question, here's the answer. And by the way, our father's well known. Our father's he's a big man in this area. So that kind of hints that generally maybe at that time You know, when men talk to women or they ask them these kinds of things, the small talk would find their way into the conversation. So they were just setting the tone. These two women, they set the tone immediately. Remember I told you, and we're going to stop here, guys. Remember I told you, in this surah, you're going to see some incredible women of the Quran. We already talked about the mother of Musa alayhi salam. Then we talked about her sister. Then we talked about Asiya radiallahu anha. Now there's two other women that are involved. So it's really a remarkable surah. And that's just the beginning. Wait and see some of the personality and characteristics of these two ladies, how it unfolds in the next few verses. It is absolutely beautiful. We all, men and women, all of us could learn a lot of gender interaction just from this section of Surah Al-Qasas. That's what I'm going to focus on tomorrow, bi'idhnillah. I'm going to throw in a little bit of fiqh as well when we talk about this whole scene of how these two women were speaking to and going back and forth with Musa alayhi salam. Eventually their dad finds out that some man was talking to his daughters, and see how he handled it and what he said. So parents out there who have daughters, or even sons for that matter, and you find out somebody opposite gender was talking to them and it kind of makes you feel a bit insecure and afraid, how you cope with those scenarios. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, inshallah. So stay tuned, because we have a very juicy and delicious session tomorrow, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we're going to stop at verse number 23. So I'm going to change the title of this, inshallah ta'ala, from 22 to 23. And yeah, so tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, around the same time. Jazakumullahu khairan. I don't want to make these sessions too long, so we're going to stop there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you and bless all of you and protect all of you. Allahumma ameen. For those of you that missed out all the previous episodes and not sure what we're talking about, where we are, please, please, please make some time. Just listen to those previous episodes so you get caught up. We're not even halfway in the surah yet, so you're still in a good place to get caught up and continue this journey with us. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you all. Take care. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.